Okay, so right now, this morning, I'm watching gold, and let me pull up the rest of my charting here. Watching gold and Nasdaq. Um, I need to get back in short. I was in short earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this move. I don't want to miss the whole entire thing. I am going to put my stop up here, so kind of wide. I was already in short earlier. We had a sell signal. I came home, went to breakfast, came home, and put on the trade just before news. And I was out on a 1 minute time frame. So that was my entry on the first trade. When it hit 2 to 1 here, which is level 3, I closed part of that trade out, moved my stop to break even. So here on this news candle, I was taken out of that trade. Okay. So I'm going to get pretty aggressive on my stop move. And then gold, I was in short last night, and there was my entry. Basically, when it broke back through the 4-hour level, I got in a little early, and then we had several sell signals. So it went sideways. I was able to close partial in here and then move my stop to break even. Almost stopped out here in the middle of the night. That was around, what, 3:30, I believe? Yeah, around 3:30, almost taken out, only to be left in. So the reason I'm in long now is because it is broken back up through that 4-hour level. So these 4-hour levels, support and resistance levels, are strong levels, price levels, and we want to pay attention to those. Okay. So we had, ADP news come out at 8:15, and again, that was what I got in here into Nasdaq before the news, and that pushed down. And of course, that's what pushed up here on gold. So basically, I've got a profitable trade already. With the stop was at break even and stopped out here on this 8:30 news. And now we're going to see what happens the rest of the day. So I like to go down to a 1 minute time frame on the charts. So I'll do that on gold as well. And I'm going to go ahead and take my position tool and unextend it. Okay. Because that, of course, was this trade. And of course, it stopped out there. So that was a trade from last night, though. So right now we'll see what happens. My stop's a little bit tight on this. I need to move it back a little bit. I wanted it up above these lows right here. So we'll see what happens on that. We'll dial the gold down to a 1 minute as well. So what we're going to do is watch for the highs and lows and see how what kind of patterns we produce. We're looking for bullish and bearish structure to form. So we're going to draw a uptrend line, uptrade line over here. And as you can see, that move up, basically, again, we're looking at bullish and bearish structure. So we had a sell signal. It came down, formed a low, formed a lower high, formed a lower low, but then formed a higher high, then came down to form a higher low. So higher highs, higher lows, bullish structure. Lower lows, lower highs, bearish structure. So this is that change in direction right here. You'll see people say change in direction, change in character. It's pretty much the same term. We're looking for that change in direction. So basically, again, sell signal, we have a low, we have a lower high, lower low, but then it comes up to break that previous high and give us a higher high. Then it comes down to test that high and gives us a higher low. So that's that change in direction, change in character. Those terms can be used interchangeably. So we're in off that. I got in kind of late. And again, I was focused more on Nasdaq to get in on that. And I was already in short, so I let the short close out by the market price, moving, and it closed me out. So right now we're in long. And we're waiting. We're waiting to see what it does here on the 4-hour. My stop's pretty tight. I'm probably going to get stopped out on this. Yeah, so I'm stopped out. So we're looking now, is this going to continue short? Looking at the indicator, I've got it on the higher time frames. So I'm going to adjust it down to a 5-minute, a 15-minute, and a 60-minute. And we'll set that up on all of them. The reason why I want to adjust it down is because I want to look at the the lower time frames, because I'm down on a 1 minute, so I'm scalping. And, we're day trading, but we're in on scalp moves. So is this going to continue short? Right now it's breaking the low. I'm going to go in with 5, and we're going to go short. And this is against all the other time frames being green right now. So this would be our retracement trade, okay? So we're looking at trading just the retracement right now. And we want to put our stop ideally up here, above the high, but you can get a little tight with it and go about in there. Okay, where these candles turned right here. So that's what we're looking at right now. And then over on Nasdaq, we see that, of course, I got to turn this magnet off here. Always turning magnets on, turning magnets off. So what we want to do is we're looking for price to hit a profit target. And I need to get over to Nasdaq because it's already moved. So Nasdaq has hit... I could just see right now it's hit 1 to 1. Okay, so we could close out 1. What we're going to do is move the stop to halfway to break even. I know things kind of move quickly. And what we're going to do over here on gold is we're going to, here at 1 to 1, since we are trading a retracement and it may be short-lived, I want to come over here. And we would put a limit order. We'd put a buy limit of 5. Right? Nope, we got 5 on. So we're going to put a buy limit of 4. We're going to close out 4 when it hits that first profit level. And then we'll have 1 on. Okay. So if it hits this level here, we're going to close 1 out, close 4 out at 1 to 1. And then we'd move our stop down to halfway point. And then when it hits the next level, we'd move our stop because that is the inside of this swing. If we adjust out to a 3 minute, we'll see that that is the inside of the swing where I've got this line. So that would be our inside bottom. So when it hits level 3 right here, we would definitely want to move our stop to break even. So again, if it hits 1 to 1 here, level 2, it's going to close out 4 for us, forcing us to take profit. So we don't have to make that decision on the fly. And then we would adjust our stop order to match. We'd adjust it down to 1, move it to halfway. And then if it gets down here to level 3, which is 2 to 1, we would move our stop to break even. So we're pretty set up on gold just to let it flow. Now, we are trading the retracement. So keep that in mind. This may still go bearish for the rest of the day. So that's why I only went in with 5 contracts. So I'm waiting on Nasdaq to hit right here to close 1. So again, we would go in here with the buy limit and we would put on 1 contract. Okay. So we want to use the limit orders to force us to take profit. That's the worst thing in the world. Not really the worst thing in the world. But that's one of the worst things in trading is to be up in profit and not take anything. Okay, not close out anything for the day. So we're up 236 for the day. We're only looking for a few $100s per day. So right now it just closed out 1 for us. So I quickly, when it went down and hit 1 to 1, moved my stop to the halfway point. Now that it's pulled down, pulled down to 3 to 1, we had that limit order to close out 1 order. So what we got to do is we have to move our stop to break even. We would modify this so it matches. Go in with 1. So this is a little slower than usual, trading just 2 instruments. Ideally, my stop needed to be up here on gold to make sure it's all the way out of the way. I chose to make it a little tighter. So this may end up being a losing trade as it's pulling back to test the back of the trend line. So right now we can, I'm going to move my stop just out of the way on Nasdaq so we can see. So this is the second trade in Nasdaq. Got in kind of late on the news. If I would have kept my stop, I got in over here, and when it pulled down to level 3, I closed out partial and moved my stop to break even. So I was stopped out on this news candle, okay? If I would have kept my stop where it was, I probably would have still been in on that runner and then able to add to that position. Instead, I had to get back in. So waiting on the news to pop up, pop down, clear that out of the way, and then we jumped in on that candle. So right now it's hit level 4. Going to go ahead and move the stop to level 2. I'm keeping it 2 levels back right now. So far so good. I don't like that gold's just sitting there wanting to tap me out, but that's okay. Let me see. Let me see what we locked in on. I got to pull a report over here, see what we locked in on that. Nasdaq. So we only closed one Nasdaq, so we got 137. That was here. So we got 137 on it. And we'll trail our stop 2 levels back. I'm giving it that room to move. We're still going to watch for structure and see how it builds up to see, you know, if we get that change in direction. Always watch your highs and lows. We're always there. We're out on gold. Okay. So I tried to trade the retracement. It didn't work out. It went in profit a little bit. Now what we're watching for is we're going to trade with the trend. That was our chance trade for the day. You know, took a chance, didn't work out. We'll do one of those. We're not going to do multiple ones. So that was taking a chance that this right here, this retracement, was going to become a new trend over here. Okay. And it didn't work out. So we're okay with that. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to watch and see what happens here above this previous high. So this was our previous high. This was our high to break. And we need to see what happens after that, after it breaks that. So we're looking for a close above that. And it's basically still just testing the backside of that trend line right now, this trade line from this low to this low. So it doesn't mean that it won't move short, okay? We have to look and see how structure builds up. So we had a high, we had a low, that's a higher low, and then technically this wick up there was a lower high, and then a lower low. So that was our bear structure, had no follow through. Again, if you're looking at the higher time frames down here, we have the indicator on the 5, the 15, and the 1 hour. So we were trading the retracement, or I was trading the retracement. Watching Nasdaq, we have a morning star here on a 1-minute time frame. So these 3 candles, a morning star, which typically means move up, doesn't mean it will, because we're looking at 1-minute candles, so they don't have the best strength, right? 1-minute time frame. Let me get some more coffee going. Hopefully everybody got a good breakfast this morning, ready to trade. Don't trade on an empty stomach. Does anybody else poke holes in their coffee? In the lid. Helps it come out quicker. All right, so we're looking good on Nasdaq so far. So it made that pullback, morning star, but again, we're on the 1-minute time frame. So let's look to draw a couple trade lines on Nasdaq. So we would have one up here where we had this sell signal, right? So we would have one starting up there. I need to move that to the top. All right, so that would be our initial trade line down, and that's going to be our outer trade line. We're going to have an outer, and then we're going to have a more aggressive inner one. So ultimately, that would be our downtrend, okay? We're going to come into these 2 highs here, this one, and we are going to use the news candle, okay? So that would be another trade line down. That's our more aggressive. It looks like I'm missing it on gold, guys. I was waiting on it to pull back. I did not put the safety trade on. Typically, when an instrument breaks like a high like this, I would put like a pending order on so I don't miss the move. But I was waiting on a pullback. I don't know if we're going to get that or not. And I don't want to do 4. I want to do 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put a buy limit in here, waiting for the pullback. And we'll see if it pulls back. So we missed that initial push. I'm okay with that. So right now we're up 240 on the one runner. Okay, yeah, it looks like we really missed out. So that's okay. We'll wait and see what it does here. So we can do a more aggressive down trade line. Ultimately, I like taking out wicks on 1 minute on the news. So if you look and take out the wick on the news candle, we would actually have a line here. Okay, so I would like to use this one that I just drew more than this one because that's a news wick. Okay, that wick's off the news. And then we could do even one more aggressive. That would be from here. We're going to look from there to here, this turn here, which we've already kind of broke through. Okay, if we draw from here to here, it's broke through. So something I covered before is when do you move your line? Okay, so we have a nice push down. You draw a trade line down, okay? And that's your down trade line, okay? And when do you move it? And I've covered this before. If you get that trade line or trend line is broken, don't think that the move's over, okay? Your bias change. A lot of people, their trend bias changes. We have a move down, you break through that line, and they say, oh, I should go long. I need to close my short and go long. You close your short, you go long, put your stop below the low, only to be stopped out on this continuation. It's still moving down. So I will move this after an extension. So what I mean by that is it broke this trade line, but then it extended down past the low. Past what was the current low, okay? So again, it came down, made a low, pulled up, broke that trade line, but then over here, it extended past that low. So once it extends past the low, it's made a lower low. You don't have to wait. When this candle closed, this candle opened and pushed down. While that candle's forming, it's below the low. So it's forming a low. At that point, you could go ahead and move that trade line out. So we would move that out off this high. Okay. Now it's broke again. So what are we going to do? We don't assume that, and it hit level 5. So when it hit level 5, since it hit level 5, I need to move this. We'll move that down. And what we're not going to assume that it's over because it could push past this low. So what we have to do is we have to wait. We can't move our line now. I've had people move lines. And guys, what I'm talking about right here on moving these lines, I'm on a 1 minute time frame. It does not matter if you're on a 5, 10, 15, 1 hour, 4 hour. It does not matter. You use the same context. I've seen people, if this was a 4-hour time frame, I've seen them sit there and when this candle right here closed, they will sit there and they would move that out there. Okay. This candle, let's say it closes and we have a wick up there. They would move the candle. And then another green candle. They move the candle. They move the candle. They move the candle. They move as it pulls back. They miss this whole retracement. They miss a whole retracement up because they're too busy moving their trend line at the wrong time. You have to wait. You have to look at the highs and lows, see what's broke. So right now, if Nasdaq goes down and pushes past this previous low, okay, the low right here, once it pushes past, it is making a lower low. We move our trend line or trade line to this point. That's what we're going to do. Now, If it fails to break this low, okay, so that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see if it goes past this low. If it goes past that low, then something like that, then we move that trade line out because it's continuing short, okay? That's what we're looking to see, is it continuing short. So if it fails, if it comes down and fails to break this low over here, right, and goes up and breaks that high, are we going to move our trend line out here? No, because this could be the start. Right now, what we're seeing could be the start of bullish structure forming, which gives us a change in direction, change in character. Okay, so we got to wait and see. So that's what we need to watch for. Is it going to break this previous low? Again, when it goes past that low, it is forming a lower low. We move our trade line over because it's a continuation of this downward move. All the while we're watching. So this is the big, moment. Is it going to break this low or not? If it doesn't break the low, it could bounce sideways for 5-10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. But ultimately, if it comes up and breaks the high, we're going to move this over here. If it breaks that high, then we have a change in character, change in direction. What does a change in direction mean for us if it breaks that high? Change in direction means that we're getting a retracement, okay? Because everything's still red down here. So we have a retracement. Are we going to sit through the retracement, trade the retracement? Am I going to, obviously, I'd get stopped out where my stop is. So do I just want to, if it breaches this high, do I just want to close out? So if it breaches that high right there, I may go ahead and close out this position and wait, okay? So if it comes up and breaches that high, the high here, I'll close out my position, and then I'll wait for a bounce on this retracement. And I don't know how deep it'll go. And then we'll trade the little retracement up to there and look for a bounce short, okay? Right now on gold, still waiting on that pullback. Again, didn't get in, sorry about that. But a lot of times I will, when we get a breach of a high, I will not put on full contracts. So you notice I have 5 here on gold. That's what I'm trading with today on gold, is 5. So when it broke through and closed above that high, typically I'd put that pending order, or what I call backup or safety order, and you'd put it up above that. I would not go with 5. It would be 2 for the day. Since I'm going with 5 contracts on this account, it would be 2 on a pending order. And then we wouldn't have missed out on that. We would have been able to close out, one of those, closed out partial, and then moved our stop to halfway or to even a break even. And then when it pulls back here, we can always add to it. So what we have to watch now is, are we going to get a deeper pullback than this to trigger our trade, or is this it? Okay? Because right now it's not pulling back. It hasn't pulled back to test this previous high. So is that what it's going to do? I'm going to pull in candles here. We have a huge drop in here. So there's no real reason for me to believe that it won't pull back deeper. We can't really, we can draw a retracement line across these tops. There's a couple tops in there, and see what it does. If it breaks that retracement line, we can get in on that. That would be our retracement line down. So again, if it breaks that though, because look at where we're at. If it breaks this retracement line down, it is right at the inside top. It may not go higher than that. So we'd have to be careful right now, because this could actually be a bounce and continue short to trigger our trade. So we're going to leave this pending order on, and we're going to switch back to Nasdaq and kind of watch what's happening. We have a high to break over here on gold. So we're watching. Need to see what happens on this candle. Is it going to close? It's definitely popped above the high over here. So is it going to close above it? and it's a 1 minute time frame. Some people take the breaks and they'll get in with full contracts. Some go in lightly like I do, and you can always add to that position. So this would be a retracement trade. What do we got left? There's a candle. So I'm going to go ahead and close this position at 186.
Order filled.
And then we're going to look and see what happens. I'm going to look for an entry to trade the retracement. Okay. And guys, it could pull back down into here in the middle of this. But we basically had a double bottom in here bounce. So we expect that to pull back up. We don't know how far. This could be it. That could be the whole pullback. So I need to mark our 186 on here. So we closed out. Turn the magnets off again. So we got positive 186. So happy with the trade so far. We're over 300 on that. Now we're still watching gold. So again, on gold, if it pulls down, we're going to let it trigger us long. And it still could pull deeper, right? So it could trigger. You got to put your orders where you put them. And I know that it is, hopefully it's going to pull on down to test this low, put us in. We'll put our stop it down in here. But ultimately, we're watching to see what happens. All right, so we're kind of getting a test here. Again, it's on a 1 minute. So it could pull back down through here. And basically, we want to see what happens right here. Okay. We're going to see what happens as it pulls back here. Is it going to bounce there? I'm not marking the trade in gold from last night. The one that was over here. This big downward move. All right, so we're getting a breach of that retracement line. Is it going to pull back and test the backside? That's typically what we want to see. So I'm going to put a backup order up here. I don't want to miss another push on this. We'll go in with 2. And we're going to do a buy stop. So if it breaches this high, it's going to put us in lightly. You can add to your position once. If it goes in the negative, you can add, as long as it's positive, you can add as much as you want. So I'm going to go in lightly, and then we'll see what happens on that. So that's kind of my backup or safety trade. So right now it's pulling back to test the backside of that retracement line that it broke. I was kind of expecting it just to shoot down and pop us in. All right. Had the indicators drop. They have to pop out to a higher time frame to set it. There we go. All right, so there's that. Pull back down to test the low. I'm going to have to put another safety trade on. We'll see what it does here as it's pulled down. So right now we still don't know. Again, it formed a low, formed a lower high than this one, but then this low right here was pretty much a double bottom, but then it did come up and form a higher high. So it looked like it was going to be that change in direction, and so far all it's done is pull back down to test that low. So I did want to put a pending order short. I already closed that trade out because I thought it was going to retrace. It had a possibility of retracing further because it broke that previous high. It broke this previous high, but as you notice, it didn't break this over here. So as you look, if you drew a line from over here, well, then I got out a little prematurely. So we had that test of the retracement line and pop up so far. There's a push up. If you're going to go long in here and trade this up, again, it's a riskier trade because it's against the other time frame. So you'd want to go less contracts. You'd want to go in with one. To me, it's pulled up to test this area over here. So I think we're going to continue short on it. But ultimately on these pullbacks, it could pull all the way back up here. So if it does, break this high over here, it could move all the way through all these, which is pretty much a long retracement. So it's a great opportunity to catch some profit in there. But we don't want to miss out on it and sit on our hands all day. Right now we're testing the inside top here. That's why I said if you took this, when it broke the retracement line and came back and tested the retracement line, if you took that long in there, it could be, that's why I said it could be short-lived. I didn't say short-lived, but we had this inside top. So you always have to be aware of your highs, lows, your inside tops and bottoms, because that may be that may be as far as it goes. It may just go up to test this inside top. And that's what it looks like right now. As you look at these candles, we're getting long wicks. A long wick up typically means we're going to get a push down. Okay. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we get that push down. I'm hoping we get a push down below this low in here. I'm hoping it does that so it can trigger us, trigger our buy order. So all we've done on Nasdaq so far is it did pull back down, strong move, and then it stopped. So we're looking at a pretty good, pretty key price level here that it not only stopped once, stopped twice, but it stopped 3 times at that level. Does not mean it won't go through it. So we'll keep our pending order down here. But it is a strong price level, which is at 19257.25. So we're sitting with what, 210 in the hole? Oh, we're zero right now. I'm looking at my other screen. All right, so there it's creeping down. Is it going to breach this low and put us in? If it triggers this in, we're going to have to put a stop order in. So good profits so far on the day. Once we get a break of these, we still got the stock market opening up. We've got 25 minutes before the U.S. stock market opens. And then we do have the price index coming out at 10. Don't forget, Friday is non-farm payroll. Let's see here.
Stop filled.
All right, so we triggered our short, or it was triggered. We're going to put our stop right here. Let's see. We got 2 on. So we'll put our stop right there, and we'll set up to close 1. Still not triggered on gold. Nothing exciting. So we'll go ahead and clear these out. Get them off the chart. All right, so we've hit that sideways motion or movement on gold so far, where it's came down, it's formed a low in here, a high, and then a lower high, but then formed a low again. So kind of like Nasdaq, where it, tripled here. So far, we've got a double bottom in here at this particular price point. So not quite coming all the way down to hit the previous high. So right now, this could go up, and what I want to watch for is see how structure build up. It's either that or we just go ahead and pull the trigger and get in. Okay, so if I get in, we would do this. We would go ahead and close that out. That didn't close for some reason. We'd go ahead and put in a buy, and then we would come and put in a sell stop, and I don't want it there. I want it down in here. I want to keep this high right here in the way of my stop. So that's a pretty wide stop, and then we'll close off the pending order here. And then what we need to do, if you want to do a tight stop, it's right here is where you would do a tight stop. So a tight stop is going to give you a closer target for your 1-to-1, which if you look is right there at the previous high. So if you're going to do something like that and use a tighter stop, a lot of people like going with tight stops. That's okay. How tight are you using it? Never put it right there at the wicks. Always give it a little bit of room. So if you're going to do that, look at where it may go to. It may only go back to test this high. So what we would do is come in and want to put in a sell limit of 4. And that way we're going to let the market take us out. So we're not trying to make that decision. A lot of people do have problems making decisions when they're confronted with the decision. So it goes up to that previous high up here, and then you're sitting there trying to think and say, is it going to go above that high? Is it not going to go above that high? I'll wait and see what it does. So it's sitting there hammering on this high, and you're like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see if it pops through. And it does, and it pulls back a little bit, and it's in here in the middle. Okay, I'll wait it out. I'll wait. I already waited. No use closing now. I'll wait it out. And then it comes back and stops you out where you were in a profitable trade, and you're waiting for it to break. Now, it could go up and break, but it may stall out there at that previous high. So we'll go ahead and pull partial. It's not quite a 1-to-1. I don't like that. That's why I wanted that deeper pullback. If you remember, I had my buy limit order down in probably about where that sell stop is. Had that buy limit order in there. I wanted that deeper pullback because if it only came up here to test the inside high, which as you can see, that's all it's done so far. This move up, they've stalled out at that inside high, that inside top. So that may be as far as it goes. So that's why I wanted that pullback to put me in. I wanted that deeper. We just didn't get a deeper pullback. Right now we're negative Nasdaq as it goes back to test that high, and it could go all the way back up here. We could see it, pop up here. So again, this account, we're looking for a couple hundred. Yeah, I want to make sure that's all I had on. Just these two trades. So it's hitting that top, hitting that inside top. We'll see what happens here. Ideally, of course, we want that to pop up. I could care less if it goes all the way through it. And, of course, that's what we'd like for our runner. But it has to get up to this top first. It has to get up to the top. And then it has to breach it, close above it. It has to go through all that first. Right now, we're finally seeing it break that inside top, which was right here, which is where these two pushes stalled out. Okay, so they hit on it twice. It finally has gone through this level. Love to see this candle, which it's just now closing. So it closed above the inside top, which is great. So just push up there, close us out. Because again, it may not go higher than that. We can always add back in. So if it pulls up and closes us out and then pulls back, we can add back in. And then that would be another trade. So again, it goes up and closes our 4 out. That's our profit, our close partial. We leave the one runner on, adjust our stop to match, and then when it pulls back, we can add back into that position and watch it make another run at the top, at the high there. Just a few ticks here. There we go. All right. So we got a close of the 4 contracts closed. We're going to put 1. I am not going to move my order up yet. I want to see it break. I want to see it get to level 3 before we move our order up. And right now we're finally up a little bit on Nasdaq. Thought it was going to push for us here. It finally broke that low. So we got 188 on that, touching our order here. So we're positive 188 on gold so far. Now, I'll add to the position if it pulls back. So right now we have 1 runner on. We're going to leave it. I think I will go ahead. I don't want to do that, guys. I want to leave the stop out here where it is. I'm going to give it that extra room. Because if I move it up here, I'm just kind of putting it to where I might get wicked out if it comes back to test this level. Now, it's moved to level 3, so at that point, we'll move it to halfway. So it's almost hit level 3. Going to move the stop halfway. So good trade overall on both these. Still waiting on our second trade on, or this would be my 3rd trade on Nasdaq, but the second one since we started. So again, I already got in short here. So 2 great trade. I'll have to go back and look at the what I made on this trade, but I'm not including that in this morning's recording here. That's why I haven't done that. Because I took it before we started. And on the gold trade line, I haven't moved that at all today because we would have needed to move it down here It was here, but once it came down, dipped, and broke this high on this move, then you would have moved your trade line. That's my bad for not moving it out. And that would be, we could actually move it to this little wick here. Kind of wicked below right there. So there's a pullback for us. Now we have to decide where are we going to add into this. So right now it's pulled down. Okay, it tested that, it's testing this high. We're in the middle of a candle right now. Again, these are 1 minute, so we got about 36 seconds. So we're going to look to see if it bounces in here. Ultimately, I'd want to draw a retracement line down. We really don't have a lot of candles yet to do that. So if I do it, I'd be drawing a line from like this high here down, and it's breaking that like right now. So is this the bounce that we would add in on? I'm okay with adding in here, but we just closed out. I would have loved to seen it come down a little bit further and see more of a bounce off that that trade line. All right, so there's that little deeper pullback. So I can see if we can draw a decent retracement line. I mean, I could use this wick right here right now since we've pushed down. So we need to see what it does. It's pushing past our trade line up, so we're getting that deeper pullback. So how deep is this going to go? Is it going to stall out at this, that previous inside top right here where this stalled out before? Okay, hit twice. Is this the bounce we're going to get? If it is, we want to add to our position. And I kind of missed it. I wanted to add in there on that bounce. So I could still add. I'd like to see it pull back down some and then add to that position. So I could actually come in here and we could put a, we would put a sell limit, or we would put a buy limit right in there. So if it pulls back down, it'll go ahead and put us in 5 more long. And then if it puts us in 5 more long, we would go ahead and close out partial when it gets to the previous high. I may have missed that, because that was my pullback I wanted to the trade line. There's the green candle. So we may get a push without me. And that's okay, because we have the one runner on. We're not going to make as much profit with our one runner as if I would have added in here, but that's okay. And if it pulls back down, we're okay with that. So right now, since we've had this just close past and push back up, yeah, see how it's pushing up? So we can go ahead and move this order out there. So we'll leave this pending order in case it does pull back. Nasdaq pulled back up deeper, so we didn't get a push. I mean, it pushed past this low over here and just kind of hung out below it. Kind of tested it up, made a lower high than this one. Really that with that wick, it pushed a little bit below, but the candles actually closed a little higher. And then ultimately it's pushed up now to make a higher high in here. And then right here, if you can see it, my order's in the way. But you can see where those 2 candles over here these two, red and green, how they, if I can get on the candles here. See how they it formed a higher low over there. So we were taken in on the 5 orders over here. So I am going to move my stop a little aggressive, and we're going to put our stop to what is break even on the 1. Okay, remember I just had that, we just got triggered 5 more long. So I need to modify this order. We'll modify it to 6. So we have our original 1 runner, okay, from the trade entry down here. And I pulled my stop to break even on it. So where my stop is right now is at break even on that first trade. Now we have 5 more contracts added. So what I would need to do is look at this high and see how, and you have to picture it may only go up as high as that top right there. So I would want to come in and put a pending order in here. All right, and we're going to do a sell limit of 4 because we put 5 more on. And then we like to leave in 1 runner, extra runner. So we have 1 runner from the trade earlier, and then we would have, if this 4 closes out here, we'd have 1 more runner from this second trade. It's pulled back down to test that area inside top. Again, where it turned here and here, giving you a chance to get back in, and we'll see how it plays out. Nasdaq, if this pulls up any further, it's going to clip us out. We're at 123, so let's say it takes us out about, what, 150? It's going to 150, 160. It's going to pretty much cancel out the profit on this right here. Which is that runner from over here. There, we're getting a deeper pullback. So this gold trade, we might get taken out. I decided to move my stop, to that break even on the 1 contract. It may have been too tight. Because what we want to watch and see is always, when you're taken out, always watch and look and see, does it go deeper? Okay? Because remember, the stop originally was way out here. Okay, but when I added the 5 in, I didn't want that far of a stop on that new trade. But that's originally where we had it on this entry. And it could, I'll put it back where it was. Not cheating the system. So ultimately, it could go all the way back down to test these lows. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get stopped down. I got my stop a little tight on Nasdaq. Ideally, you'd want it up around in there because it is, heading over to this other trade line. So ideally, up above these 2 highs would have been a great spot for it. I can't remember where I had it. I probably would have been taken out now. We'll see what happens. I'll leave it out there. I don't like move my stops, but we'll leave that one out there. It's going to probably pull back and stop it out anyways. We'll see if it bounces here. If you're watching for that bounce, of course, we draw a retracement line up. And then we're going to look to see if it bounces in here or not. So that's going to wipe out. We're already wiped out this profit here with where it is now. And it's going to pull further up. So it's going to take even more profit. We might lose about half that back. So right now we've had, with gold breaking that trade line up, okay, and it's, we had the retracement line here, that it broke the retracement line, pulled back, and right now it's tested the retracement line, which it could skip down the backside. So we might see continuation down on this. It's trading against the indicator, so we wouldn't take it unless you're going to take it really lightly. Light on contracts. Yeah, it's going to go stop us out here. We're going to get a push down. Because it's already broken. If you look at what's happened, it's broken that inside top, which it bounced twice here, pulled back to test it, and now we're getting that bearish candle. So we have bearish structure built up over here. If you want to get in short on this pullback, you can get in short, do less contracts, because again, the indicator's all green. If you're going to trade against the indicator, go lightly. I like where Nasdaq has kind of stopped there right at that trade line down. Evening Star, would love to see it push off that, but we're already in the negative, so. I think I'm going to move these. I'm going to move my orders over so they're not interfering with the candles. Back in positive on gold. So right now it's testing this high back here. Is it going to form a lower high? So far we've had that, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we've had a deeper pullback. Is it just going right now to test the backside of this trade line up? If it comes up and breaks this previous high over here, at that point we'd move our trade line out to this point. But until then we can't. Because even if it pulls back up in here somewhere, if it forms a lower high and pushes back down, well then that's that bearish structure that is built up and might continue short. So we don't want to move our trade line out here to keep us out of a short position, to make our minds biased. Our minds are already biased and going long because of the indicator. Okay, so we want to be careful how we watch structure. Nice candle up. Nice pop on both. And yes, we're seeing them move in opposite directions. I'm not going to put a pending order to close any profit over here on like right there on Nasdaq. That's too tight. All right, so far we're back in that Nasdaq. We're back in positive a little bit as it just drops straight down to that previous low. We've got the U.S. stock market just open. So we're going to see it start its wild journey. Not sure what our guard dog's out there barking at. Right now, Nasdaq testing that area again. All right, so there's that pullback on Nasdaq to test that. Now I didn't move it, but since it did pull back, it pulled up here and broke that trade line down. And again, that's not the time to say, well, we're getting a reversal. You have to watch. And since it did push down to test this level again, at that point we can go ahead and move our trade line out. In which case we would move it out to this high. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a test right now as it's pulled back. We're looking to see if it is only testing this area. So is that all we're getting right now on this? Are we getting a test of the backside of this retracement line up and where we just moved the trade line? And we moved it again because it was broken, but then it pushed back down through it. So we're not done with that short move yet. So is this all we're going to get to test? It could go up and break the side. This is Nasdaq, so it doesn't always give us the perfect bounces, and normally we get those deeper pullbacks. And then it still continues in that direction. So far in gold, we're still sitting waiting on it. Would love to see it, of course, push up there. It's basically on these candles here, hit the inside of this top move, which is right there. That's our inside top. Is that right there? So the inside top again is when you get a swing up and down, we have our top, which is up here. That's our high. Okay. That's our high to break. And then we have our inside top, which is here. So it hung out there. So we finally got triggered on, we got the close of 4 of our contracts. I'll go look and see what we locked in. And we need to change this to 2. So now we have 2 runners on. We got in over here, and it closed partial here, closed out 188. We put on 5 contracts. It closed out 4, okay? And then on this dip, we put on 5 more contracts and closed out 4, okay? So we have 2 runners on. So we have 1 runner from each trade. So that's how you can stack on your runners, but we also have 2 decent-sized trades. So let's go. That's because I just switched over to Trade-A-Bait over here. Wonder why my sound's lagging, because I'm only in 2 trades and the orders are still on. It's when I switched over to Trade-A-Bait in here. So we got, it broke up the order. I hate when it does that. So we have gold. We did close out. So we got the 188. So it closed out. I'm going to have to add it. It did it in 3 separate orders. Closed 1 at 87, 2 at 102, and 1 at 51. So we're going to have to add them up. Nice push up. I am going to move my stop, obviously, to break even. We'll move it up here to level. Since it hit level 4, if we're going to trail 2 levels back, we'll move it there. We could close out and be done for the day. So we got 87, 102 and 51. So 240. So we locked in 240 when that order was hit. I need to turn my magnet off. What did I say, 240? Yeah, we got 240. Okay. So we got 240. So far 188, 240, and our stop's better than break even. Nasdaq, I'm still waiting. I still want it to push. We need to push down further than this. We're already set to close one. I'd like to see it get to 200 and close out one. I'd like to see at least $100 locked in per trade. You know, so we'd come down, what are we about? Okay, so we were about 100 in here. So it'd be about right in here. We would want to close out one. We'd put a buy limit of 1. Okay, so gold has pushed up to the halfway point between 4 and 5. I'm okay with using halfway points. Nothing says you have to use the rigid targets we have in here on this trade position tool or target tool, right? So we moved up to level 3. We had our stop at break even. It hit level 4. I moved my stop to here, to the first level. So it's moved halfway between 4 and 5. So I can move halfway between 2 and 3. Okay? I'm trailing. I'm still trailing 2 levels back. If it comes up and hits level 5 up here, then I'm going to move my stop to level 3.
Order filled.
Okay, so we just closed out one of Nasdaq. I'm going to move my stop. I'm going to give it room, but I want to move it down some. I want to limit my open risk here. And we'll change our order to match. We're seeing long wicks here, which, you know, on these move up, if you're looking at the candle, wicks here at the top means, of course, we're pushing up, but sellers are coming in. We're seeing that pushback. Okay, so they stepped in a little bit, even pushed this candle down some. So we're seeing it move to level 5. It's almost hit level 5. So I will go ahead and move it. Now, if you look right now, where I had it here, the halfway point, I at least had this high in the way. Okay, where I moved it up here, I don't have that anymore. So we're up 318. I'm going to close out one more. Okay, so we're going to come in and buy one, sell one, sorry. I almost added to my position. So I just closed out one more. So here after the U.S. stock market opened, we're getting a little excited. Let me go refresh this report. So I need to see what we got on that gold and what we got on Nasdaq. Let's pull the stop on Nasdaq down to break even. Okay, so going out, looking. We closed one more gold. Is that it? 51? No, it's not. Why is it not showing that one? There we go. So we got 154 on and 88 on Nasdaq. So 154 closing out in here. Where'd we have it? Right here. I manually closed it out. I'm not sure exactly where. I'll have to look at the price. But we got 154 on closing out the one runner, and our stops moved to where it is. So Nasdaq, we're up. We can't do anything on Nasdaq but trail our stop. This is an old down trade line over here, and I'm going to take it off. Take both these off. And you'll see that what I talked about here was where you know, on this pullback on Nasdaq, it did turn right in that target area. Basically, that retracement line up, the trade line down, and it did turn right there before popping. So, okay on gold. If it pulls back and stops us out, because we have nothing in the way. Ideally, down here would be better for our stop because we have this high right here that's in the way that if it pulls back to test that and bounces, we're okay. We're still in the trade. If I pull here using that profit target tool, I could get wicked out or stopped out only for it to move further. And we have to put 88. I'm not sure which candle, guys. It was about a 1-to-1 on this, I think. So it was somewhere in here that we did 88 on it. So far, another good trade on Nasdaq. Again, I got in early on that one, so I'm not going to count that. So we're only starting with this trade here, and then we have this one on. Not using the trade target tool on this. So how do we trail our stop? Are we going to use candles? If you're going to use candles, we look at the candle highs, and we can move our stop accordingly. Here's a candle high. Why won't it let me draw on that? So are we going to trail our stop like that and keep it above a candle high? Well, now we have another candle high over here. Okay, how tight are we going to trail this? Are we going to trail it 2 candles back or 1 candle back? If I'm going to go 1 candle back, I would move my stop right now to above this candle high. I like to leave 2. So that's what we're going to do on this. We're going to trail 2 candles back. So if it pushes back down, if we get another red candle to push down below this low in here, okay, well then once we see a couple candles print, then I would be able to move my stop down above that. So right now I'm leaving it there. So we might get wicked out here. We might get stopped out as it's pulling back. And okay with that. We've done good on Nasdaq so far with what's been locked in. So far, good on the day. All right, so we're still sitting and watching. All right, so I'd love to see them, of course, both push, bounce up. We're still, right now we're up. I'm up 146 on Nasdaq, and it could pull back a little. So I think we'll lock in at least a little over 100 if it stops us out. So that'll be really good on the day. Locking in, let's say we lock in 100. You've got 137, 186. So you got 300 there, 400. We're almost at 500 just on Nasdaq, and that's all we're looking at for the day is just 500. So Nasdaq pretty much got us our daily target, and then gold has gotten us extra, our overage, our monthly bonus, part of our monthly bonus. So this will stack into our monthly bonus. I need to move the trade line up because we have these lows in here. So once, like I said earlier, once gold broke the previous high over here, which it closed above there, that's when we needed to move this out. Because it extended past the previous high. Now, same on Nasdaq. So Nasdaq popped up here, and then when it pushed down, when it pushed down these candles and broke the previous low, well, now it's making a lower low. Once it pushes past, then and closes past, well, then it's made technically a lower low. You would move your trade line out to that little high right there, because we're seeing that continuation, right? It closed past the low, continuation. Over here, it closed past the high, continuation. So we have bullish continuation so far on gold, and Nasdaq bearish continuation. Not moving the stop yet on Nasdaq, so we might get stopped out, but we're waiting on candles to close below these lows over here. So we may not get it. We're okay with that. We've done good on the day.
Stop filled.
We got stopped out. That was on Nasdaq. We'll go see what we got on that. We got 110. So that's, like I said, we would get around 100. So we got 110. So is the short move over? I don't think so. So we got 110 on this. So far, great on Nasdaq for the day. Do I think that the short moves over? Right now, the indicator's still saying short. Everything down here is red. So I'm thinking shorts still. Okay, we have our trade lines down. I'm thinking shorts still, because again, the indicator's all red. We've been short all morning. Yes, we had some healthy pullbacks in here. That was the start of the U.S. session. So we're seeing a pullback. Let's draw a retracement line back. We turn the magnet back on. So let's draw a retracement line back and watch and see how that plays out. Okay, right now, it's just in a healthy retracement. Here's our previous high, right? Am I on that? Nope. So there's our previous high. So that's our support and resistance level. Okay. So our previous low, sorry. These low bounces over here where it hit here again, finally broke through. So is it just going back up to test this level? So what I can do is wait, and we can always get back in another trade. That's going to be our target area over here. And keep in mind what it did over here, okay? It pulled up and then shot through the retracement line, this retracement line up, shot through it, came back and tested the back side of it as well as the trend line. Are we going to see the same thing? I don't know when it'll happen. Is it going to come up here first and then shoot through and then go back and test and then go back here? And it could stall out again at the inside bottom. Keep that in mind. Is that what we're going to see? Or will it do that now? At any point in time, it could shoot down through. Okay. Test the backside there and go down. So we've still got to watch for structure. But what I'm going to do is wait for potential entry in here. Now, I've been getting in light on Nasdaq with just 2 contracts. So we'll put on 2. And again, I need to watch and see what it does on this retracement line. Gold's pulled over. It's hit that 4-hour. We've had a 4-hour level here, and it hit that 4-hour support and resistance level. It's kind of played around with it. So same thing. We'd have to have a retracement line down. I don't normally draw multiple retracement lines down unless they're unless they pull back further. So right now, this is our retracement line. This is our retracement line down back to this trade line up. If that trade line up, if this trade line up right here was way down here somewhere, if it came across here, well then of course at that point, yes, I would draw a retracement line from that high to here and see how it plays out. But right now it looks like we might be getting a bounce here. I'm not going to add to my position, I don't think. Done good on the day. Don't want to spoil the fun. So again, we've got a decent bonus running. Nasdaq, I wouldn't short right now. Again, I'm waiting on it to see if it walks up the back of that retracement line. Kind of like what it did over here. And if you notice over here, it shot all the way down to the previous low and then pulled all the way back up. So are we going to see a repeat of that? I don't know. It could shoot all the way down, then shoot all the way back up. So I don't want to take anything risky. I'd rather take a safer bet. So I don't want to get in short right now, Nasdaq. If I get in short right now, Nasdaq, and it walks up the backside of the retracement line, I'm going to be in the negative for quite a while if it goes all the way back up here. And quite a negative trade. I don't want to give back what I locked in, for the day so far on Nasdaq. So I'd rather wait, and if it pulls back, then at that point I'd look to enter. Get in at a better price, less risk. Right now it's real risky. I'd be getting in, and I would need to close out partial before it hits the previous low, because that may be as far as it gets. So if I miss, if this goes down and hits that previous low and bolts through, I miss it. If I miss it, I miss it. Let's go out and let's do contract. So far we got, okay, Nasdaq is, I just pulled the report on Nasdaq. So we locked in, let me scroll back up here. 596.
Stop filled.
We just got stopped out on gold. I'll go look and see what that is too. And see how I told you that I've kind of put my stop in the way, right? I put my stop here at level 3, knowing that if it came back, it could test this high. And that's where it's hit right now. So kind of put my stop right in the way. So what did I say? 596. So 596 on... so we're positive 596 on Nasdaq. I don't know why that's so small. I must have changed it at some point. So far total on Nasdaq is 596. There, we're getting a deeper pullback on gold. Still, the indicator says buy. Long across the board. All right, and then we got 582 on gold. All right, so I think I'm done for the day. That's good on the day for me. Again, on this account, I'm only looking for 500. for the day. And either way you want to look at it, we got that on gold, we got that on Nasdaq, and then we've got bonus, right? Or I've got 2 days locked in. So I'm looking for 500 a day on this account. So I could look at it however I want. I've got over 500 on 2 instruments. So I could take tomorrow off. It's already covered. I made that today. Or I can still trade tomorrow, and one of these will go into the overage. So let's say on Nasdaq we got 596. So 500 covers what I look for a day. So 96 added to this, that gives me my overage toward my monthly bonus check. So that covers losses. Okay. If I come in tomorrow and I lose $300, $400, $500, I'm okay with it because I locked in the extra today. So that's what the runners allow us to do. If I wouldn't have put the pending order up here or closed out the one other runner, it was up here and I went ahead and closed out one runner. I think I did that manually without the pending order. So if I wouldn't have done that, then I would have profited less because we locked in an extra 154 on this one. So continue with short right now on Nasdaq because that's what we're getting. It's broke the previous low. So since it's broke that previous low, we're having that continuation short. Okay. If you want to draw a trade line down, you could do it from like this high to this high here in here. But ultimately your trade line should be out here. Okay, that's the one that it's going to follow. This would be something more aggressive that it would go through pretty quickly. So trade safe. Hope you enjoyed today. And we've locked in enough for the day. Again, locked in our daily target and then actually locked in a good bonus toward the end of the month. So that's what the other trade is covering, our bonus for the other month. The bonus check, that covers several things. It covers any losses that we might take if they're not covered on the day. So if I come in tomorrow and I only trade one instrument and I take a loss, it's covered by my bonus check. Whatever I have bonus build up for the month covers those losses. And that's why we leave runners on, because typically those bonuses that we get off our runners will cover our losses. All right. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the Discord. And don't forget, non-farm is this Friday.